Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name is David and this is a deck review. Today we're going to look at the prototype deck for the Plugged Nickel Kickstarter. Now, the Plugged Nickel deck is being released from Vixen Tor games. If you'd like to learn more about them, you can visit them at VixenTorGames, vixentorgames.com. Vixen Tor Games is a man named Matt Drake. Matt Drake is a Texan, like I am. He lives out in Arlington. And so this is his Kickstarter deck. Now, originally, he had launched the Plugged Nickel deck earlier, back in March 2014. It didn't quite fund, and so he decided to regroup, redesign, and then relaunch. And so this is his relaunch. And it's a little bit different. The design's a little bit different than his original Kickstarter. And so he was kind enough to send me a prototype, so thank you, Matt. And so I'll be reviewing this prototype for you. Now, this prototype isn't exactly like the deck you will get with your Kickstarter. At the time, Matt ordered his prototype decks from a company called Liberty Playing Cards. And so after playing with these cards for a couple of days, I was able to write Matt back and just tell him what I thought. It is released now. And so definitely head on down to his Kickstarter and check out the Plugged Nickel deck. His tuck box for the prototype has the Ace of Hearts symbol here with a bison or a cow, a skull in the front. And it says Plugged Nickel Playing Cards on the front. So if you don't know what Plugged Nickel is like a cowboy term. Way back when the coins were being minted in the 18th and 19th century, coins were made with a small silver disc added to the center of the coin right in the middle in the planchette. So right before they struck the coin, there was this hole there, and they would stick this small amount of silver right in the middle. And why they did that was so that the value of the coin would increase. Okay? So by adding silver, real silver, to nickel, made your coin have value. So that's what a Plugged Nickel is. So the rest of this tuck case is pretty much how the prototypes looked. There won't be any real way to know what the final product will look like, but this is what mine says. It says Imperial Linen Finish on one side, and Plugged Nickel Cards and Wanted Poster Deck on the other side. There's some ad copy about Vixen Tor Games on the bottom, and the top just has a couple of skulls, and the back design is the back design of the cards. So that's pretty much it for the tuck case. Let's take a look at these cards. The back design is simply a mirrored image of skulls with some kind of iron wagon wheel corners and barbed wire and like tumbleweed type weeds going through it, and then bullets. So it's very Western, very old school, very country-esque, and so it definitely has a Western feel to it, but then also a death skull kind of feel to it. These aren't just happy-go-lucky cowboys from the Western era. These are kind of like haunted spirits of the cowboy era, and so there's definitely a death element to the deck. With the prototype, we did get a double backer, which is always nice, and then we did get one extra card, and it's not really a ad card, it's not really a joker, it's just kind of a quote. And on the quote there it says, "There are very few problems that cannot be solved with an appropriate application of violence." Here's a close-up of the back design and the quote card. Okay, and here's a close-up of the two jokers. You have your red joker, which is a buffalo head nickel. And there you can see the hole for the Plugged Nickel. And this is the black joker, and it is an Indian head penny. But the Indian head, of course, has been replaced by a skull. And again, there's the little hole that you would see in a plugged nickel or a plugged coin. And what people would often do is they would remove the silver from it and then sell it. And because the actual silver was worth more than the coin itself. And so that's sometimes where you hear the phrase, "That isn't worth a plugged nickel." And so those are your two jokers. Your court cards are these kind of death images of these skeletal cowboys and cowgals. A lot of the images are going to be familiar to you in a standard deck, but they've just been stripped away of all of their life and given these corpse faces and cowboy and cowgirl type clothing. Here's a closer look at some of the original quartz that Matt has produced.
And like I said, they're all kind of deathly imaged skull corpse cowboys, and it makes for quite an attractive and creative deck.
Now the suit and indice cards have kind of like a parchment yellowed background, and each one of them has a familiar pip layout, but have been redrawn with a custom font and a custom pip.
Here's your closer look of the indice cards. Just wanted you to notice the original font on the pip and the background watermark.
The aces are all similar, that they have a large animal's head, bulls, cows, bisons, etc. In the very center, and then the exploded pip behind them. This ace of spades is plug nickel playing cards for Vixen Tor games made in the USA. So that's your ace of spades. And then this is your ace of diamonds, your ace of clubs, and your ace of hearts.
So I'm going to give you a close-up view of the aces, and just so that you can use your own computer controls and pause whenever you'd like, just to take a longer look.
So that's the end of this review, and as always, recommend that you back the Plug Nickel campaign. Just head on down to Kickstarter, look up the Plug Nickel playing cards, and definitely want to give Matt Drake your support. If you have any questions about his deck or his campaign, I would direct them to Matt in the future, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.